Let's go to Justin in Indianapolis. What's up, Justin?
Hey, how's it going, Dr. John?
I'm good. Hey, you're not working at that. There's like a big fire going on there right now, huh?
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. It's no fire here.
Just in your heart. Hey, that's awesome, dude. Okay, so what's up?
Hey, so I'm 23 and I'm getting married in July.
Congratulations.
So we are excited, and we are huge Dave Ramsey people too. So we've got all the baby steps and all that stuff lined up, and so I work at a CNC shop and I have unlimited overtime. So essentially I am gearing up to just absolutely grind it out and pile up as much money as I can so we can buy a house and do all that stuff the Ramsey way. And
what's a CNC shop?
It's computer numeric control. So essentially I use crazy machines to cut big blocks of metal.
That sounds so great.
It's so much fun. I love it.
You know
so
what
much.
I am?
And I love my job.
I'm a podcaster.
Your podcast is pretty cool.
Listen,
I
dude,
listen to your podcast a lot.
I know, but you can take machines and cut metal, man. That's so awesome. And Andrew over here is running the board. He could take that metal and melt it together with fire. I don't know. I'm embarrassed to be on the phone with you is what I'm saying. So, all right, so go ahead. So you've got the opportunity to just essentially earn a ton of money by working your butt off over the next however many months.
Yes, and I love my job, so I'm perfectly willing to do that.
Excellent.
However, my fiance has expressed concerns that she says she understands all the Dave Ramsey stuff. She says that she gets that we need to, really, really buckle down and really grind it out now in these next coming years so we can really get a good foundation for our family and start things off on the right track, which is great. And I'm a very blessed man for her understanding. However, she did say that she's a little bit concerned that I might be working too much and that she's concerned about me being present in the first couple months, first couple years of our marriage. So I guess my question is, what are some good ways to balance grind, really getting gazelle intense, really grinding things out and really working hard at my job and, making the money to ensure our future, but also, dedicating and investing in my marriage as well.
It's a great question, man. I wish more people were this intentional on this side of it. Usually people come to me when their marriages are hanging on by dental floss and trying to save it. And you are being wise and intelligent and on the front end. So good for you, man. For everybody listening, if you don't know, Dave Ramsey stuff is what he's talking about is for 30 years, Dave's been teaching people how to get out of debt, to stop owing people money. And you hear me talk a lot about the psychological issues with owing people money. But also there's a wealth building component. There's how to buy a house and how to buy cars and how to invest and things like that. So you're way down the road there, Justin. Here's what I think is going to get y'all into trouble, and here's a simple path out of it, okay? Have you heard me talk about pictures and words before?
A little bit.
Okay. Here's a recap of pictures and words. It was the great William Glasser, who was a psychiatrist back in the day who actually swore off psychiatry in a way. He's the one who gave me this idea. We think in pictures, but we speak in words. What I mean by that is you're about to get married and you have a picture in your mind of what the word husband means. And in your mind, I'm guessing a husband is a guy who works really hard and he's a provider and he looks at a goal 15 years down the road when it comes to paying for kids' college, kids that aren't even born yet, paying off a house, making sure your family's safe, providing food, all those things. Your wife has a picture of husband, of a guy who walks in at exactly 5:00 every day, who neatly puts his clothes away and who is smelling so good and who just sits down to a nice, and I'm completely gender stereotyping this thing, by the way, and sits down to a nice dinner and smiles, and then y'all all watch TV and she falls asleep in your arms. Now, both of you deeply love each other. Both of you are deeply committed to each other. And you are going to go 100 miles an hour towards your picture of the word husband. And she is going to go 100 miles an hour trying to make the picture of husband in her head possible. And y'all are both going to go 1,000 miles an hour going opposite directions from each other. And so when you come home at 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, having busted your butt in a hot warehouse in the summer cutting metal, she's going to be sitting at home heartbroken that she's done something wrong, that her husband would rather hang out with machines than her. And then when you come home at 5 o'clock, you're going to be looking at your watch the whole time going, we are never going to get home. So the magic here is not, how do I find the balance? Balance is an illusion. It's not real. That's a fake word. It's a waste of time to go towards it. What I want you guys to do is to get really clear and united on these pictures. Here is what my picture, when I hear the word wife, here's what's in my head. When she hears the word wife, here's the picture in her head. What kind of house do we want to live in, and when do we think we want to buy one? How much money would it take? And just reverse engineer it. That means that if I worked 48 hours a week for the next 2 years, I could make this thing happen. Or if I worked 80 hours for 1 year, we could have a house. And now what you're doing is y'all are just weighing what kind of life you want to live. You're not weighing, that's too much work. That's not enough work. You're never home for dinner. You're not. All those questions go away when you decide together, here's the life we want to have. And so for us, I wanted a life outside of higher education someday. I wanted a life where I wasn't on call 24/7, 365 all the time. And so what that meant was for 3 or 4 years, I was going to go back to college. I already had a PhD. I was done. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get trained in something else so that I have different options. And so what that meant was every couple of weeks, my wife and I were meeting like, this is awful. I'm writing papers every Saturday instead of playing with my young kid. And I'm reading books into the middle of the night instead of going to concerts and all that. We gave up that moment. And now we're living a bananas life, like a cartoon. But we sacrificed, but we did it together. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So those things took care of themselves. And so I'd love for you and your wife to sit down and say, just tell her exactly what I told you about pictures and words and what marriage, like when I see marriage in my head, you're probably going to default to what your parents did. She's going to default to what her home life was like. I'm going to try to make this thing work. And that's where that tension comes from. All right. So speak back. I talked at you a lot. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going, marriage counseling. We're both raised Christians and have amazing parents, and we've just come from 2 great families. So we're doing marriage counseling and all that stuff. So we actually have marriage counseling this evening. So we always have dinner before and kind of talk about our week and stuff. So I was going to talk to her about whatever it is we talked about this evening at dinner. And yeah, that pictures and words, that really makes sense to me. So I'm following you there.
Awesome.
And I am desperate to give this woman everything that she deserves because I am the luckiest man in the world and I love her more than anything in the world. So I'm just
awesome.
trying to be prepared.
So the greatest gift you could give her on the front end is extreme clarity about what you often, especially husbands, but wives too, especially husbands, we get in our head, I want to give my wife everything. Well, I may have talked about this on the show. This is a private conversation between me and my wife, so I don't know if I have or not. I really want my wife to have a handsome husband. And I can't do much about my face. I got stuck with that one. But I can stay in the gym, especially with how bad I eat sometimes. And I really want my wife to never, ever, ever worry about money, ever. I want her to do whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And so I'm going to work like crazy all of the time to always be earning, always have another line in the water, another prospect, another book on the horizon. I always want to be earning. And it was during a Christmas holiday, not this year, but the previous year, when I was sick and I was down in our little home gym lifting weights. I was lifting heavy and I can be kind of obnoxious, loud, and whatever. And she came down and just said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm working out." What? And she came and got really close to me, and she's shorter than me, and she got real close. And she said, "On a pie chart that is our life together, the looks department is filled. The next exercise you do is not for me. It's for your ego. You're welcome to stay down here, but you cannot tell yourself or anyone else that you're doing this for me." And she said, while I'm here, when it comes to money, we have enough. What I don't have enough of is you. And what I realized, Justin, is I was using what I thought she wanted, and I was trying to give it to her, and I never bothered to ask her. Occasionally, I would ask her, and I wouldn't believe her. Occasionally, I would be like, hey, and she'd be like, you look great. I'd much rather you be up with us once or twice a week for breakfast instead of spending an hour and a half down in the basement. And I'd be like, yeah, she says that now, but one day. What if I just trusted my wife? Right? So it goes back to asking. And then I'm going to give you this one thing. You're going to find as a newly married 23-year-old, man, y'all are young, dude. You're going to find yourself not knowing what you're doing. And work is going to become a great distraction, a great drug. My good friend Ian Simpkins says, if busyness is your drug, then rest will feel like stress. If you medicate yourself with busyness and with more work and more work and more work, resting will feel anxious. So you got to be honest with yourself about it. Whether you're using work for a season, we need to earn this much money so we can get a down payment for this house. And so I'm going to work this many hours for this long. We're going to get this thing done. Or I'm just endlessly working forever and ever and ever. Amen. Because I'm good at that and I'm not good at being married right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Y'all are going to have to build into your relationship conversations and ways of talking. And if y'all will connect your pictures together, if y'all will be crystal clear about what you're both aiming at, man, you will be so far ahead of every couple I talk to. Not every, but most of them. Be clear about your pictures. Make sure your words and pictures match and set up a plan together and then just go get it. Congratulations on getting married, man. Let me know how it goes.